And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, everybody, welcome in another edition of TigerBait Live. Got a lot to talk about. Obviously, we're wrapping up LSU spring football. Tomorrow morning is our last Smoky Investment Team practice report. We get an extended look tomorrow. Then players will be made available after that for interview. But it's been, I don't know, maybe I don't know if we call it a mixed bag or how we would wrap up or what terms we would use to quantify or describe accurately what we've witnessed throughout the spring. But we're going to talk about that tonight. As always, you guys drive the show with your questions and comments. Put them in the chat, and we'll get to them as soon as we can. As always, please hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. Subscribe, notification bell, and please let everybody know that we're live. We're going to go to about 7 o'clock, and we've got a lot of topics. Obviously, LSU football, baseball, transfer portal, and much more right here on TigerBait. Welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Mike Scarborough. Of course, it is Easter week, Holy Thursday tomorrow, Good Friday, Saturday. Hope everybody has a great Easter weekend. And a little tidbit, if you want that Manda ham on your Easter plate, it is to die for. And, of course, as we get into a mixed bag, softball and baseball, both getting swept. You asked me about the ranking, softball down to 9. And they've got a big weekend this weekend. Of course, LSU.
That's where LSU baseball's at.
Yeah, LSU baseball coming back over here after 7 games on the road. You know, that Nichols game was flip-flopped with the venues because of the cold weather, and they ended up playing that Nichols game and then continuing to go on the road, swept Oklahoma, just kind of lethargic. And how about Samuel Dutton, former LSU pitcher? Oh, by the way, I mentioned this on TV today, and I'm gonna get it off my chest right out of the gate. So we're getting ready to do football practice yesterday morning, and one of the guys said, "Yeah, I talked to one of my buddies at Auburn. Yeah, said the umpire on Friday night, 71%. His name's Nathan Huber. Jeff Head and Nathan Huber." I'm not going to call them any names. 71%. Do you realize out of 100 pitches, that means 29 are wrong? And so I rant and rave and get all pissed off about the umpiring in this league, and you just have to go with the flow. Now, here's the question. Now that you're coming back home, is LSU going to get the benefit of the doubt?
By the way, that's not just the baseball problem. Did you watch Jacques talk with Yvette Gerard a few days ago?
I know. Softball is just as bad.
She's saying that's even worse.
Yes, yeah.
And so, you know, I mean, it's not. I don't know if they're ever going to go to a machine or a computer, but
or a robot, which they're actually. I had Ben McDonald on today, and he talked about it. They're trying this out in the minor league. But my point of it is that you got Cade Anderson, and he's got a 2-2 curveball right on the corner. It's called a ball. The next pitch hits more the black of the plate. It's over the center fielder's head off the wall and 2-run score where you could have been out of the inning. So Nathan Huber, Jeff Head, and the rest of those crappy SEC umpires.
You can name all of them.
Yeah.
They're not alone.
Well, I'm going to call this son of a gun out because he was horrible last year. Yeah. And so this is one of the things, folks, that you have to deal with, and it's all right here. I'm a type A and get the Screaming Reds, okay? But these pitchers have to stay calm. Nate Yeske's got to calm them down. But I'm hoping that getting back home, sleeping in your bed, doing all the things, seeing your girlfriend, that's a tough life when you're at LSU and you're trying to go to school and try to play ball and all that. So let's hope these next 2 weekends. But Bama's lost two out of 3 the last 2 weekends. And then Tony Vitello, we talk about South Carolina coming in here on this show with women's basketball. We talk about the Fighting Irish with football. Trust me when I tell you, the week of Tennessee, you will get lit up with the Tennessee baseball fans because they have been, Ben said this, the last 3 or 4 years, Tennessee's been the best baseball program in the conference. But don't act like you've been there for 30 years.
Well, here's the deal. Kendall Rogers, batter up show we recorded earlier today. He has LSU winning 2 out of 3 against Alabama this weekend, and he's already predicting LSU 2 out of 3 over Tennessee. Alex Box next week is going to be lit.
Yeah.
For Tony Vitello. And, look, we had a character kind of like Tony Vitello here and Will Wade, didn't we?
Yeah.
They love him there.
Yeah.
LSU fans love Will Wade here, but most of the SEC hate him just as much as LSU baseball fans hate Vitello. But he's the right guy for that job over there, ain't he?
And they did win it last year.
You have to give him props.
Give him credit for that. Of course, everybody knows
he recruits like nobody's business.
It's tough to defend. And look, David Van Horn is still trying to win and host the trophy and win. Of course, the SEC has been dominant the last 10, 15 years. As you know, just about everybody in the league has won a natty. But, Alabama, you normally worry about beating them in football and basketball. But baseball, this matters. Alabama's about 15, LSU's 8 or 9 or whatever. And so big weekends this weekend. And if Kendall's right and you win 2 out of 3 both weekends, then all of a sudden you're sitting at 14-7, and that's pretty good. I think I looked at it. You picked 19-11 for the year in the SEC. I picked 20-10. Ben picked 18-12. Todd Walker didn't want to make any predictions.
I think Ben might be right.
Well, you think 18-12?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. It just depends on what you do at home. After these 2 home games, you go to A&M, and they just woke up. I did not have the heart to text Paul.
By the way, Kendall, everybody likes to rag on him being an Aggie. He already picked an LSU to win 2 out of 3 in that one too.
Yeah. Well, then if that's the case, but I was going to say, poor Coach Maneri got beat 17-0 in one of those games, and Jacques and them were talking about it at practice the other day. They had about a 9 or 10 run lead and blew that. So A&M has been awakened, and then of course after A&M you host Arkansas. So 3 blockbuster SEC baseball weekends coming up here in the next 4 weeks. Bama here, Tennessee here, and then after the travel to A&M, hosting Arkansas. Those are 3 heavyweights, and if LSU can do 2 out of 3 on all those, there's no doubt they're going to go and host the Super Regional as well as the Regional.
All right, Chance Babin first up. He says, I really wanted to overreact to the Auburn debacle, but from experience, I know to trust the Tigers to get back on track. Brad DeVete says, good evening, Mike and Buddy. What do you think about LSU hiring Eric Held? I saw that. I know he's very well thought of and connected, obviously, with high schools here, and that's going to be nice for the program.
Now, is this Bag's old position?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, look.
Or maybe it's probably been tweaked and there's some other things with it, but high school liaison or whatever how you want to term it.
I think of Bags from time to time. He was such a great man, did a great job with that liaison. Nick kept him on and really put emphasis about the relationships
Got
with
to
high
play
schools.
a lot of golf.
Yeah. Well, Bags was great about that. And so we'll see. I don't know Eric personally. Do you?
No, I haven't met him.
Yeah. So we'll see. But anyway, look, it's going to be an interesting 3 months here as we get this buildup. We'll have plenty to talk about in June, July, and August with this buildup of the first football game.
Chance Babin, Mike, Preston needs to lose some baby weight. He looked big in that post-practice. Well, Preston's a big guy, but he's already lost over 20 pounds with his sponsor on his show. So let's see how he once he starts back in August, let's see where he's at. I do. Brad DeVete, do you think Tennessee made the right decision letting Nico walk? He's already committed and signed with UCLA. He's found a landing spot.
Absolutely made the right decision. Here's a guy at the end of the bowl game, last play of the game, and this knucklehead, the only way he scores a touchdown is to throw it in the end zone, and he runs out of bounds. If I'm a teammate, I go grab him and say, what the heck are you thinking? You can't win running out of bounds. He got $8 million for 3 years, which was basically they were giving him about $2.4 a year. I don't know. Did they say what UCLA is going to pay him?
I don't know.
Obviously, his daddy and everybody's involved.
I bet they got a discount.
But I was going to say he's not worth $4 million a year.
Damaged goods.
Now Carson Beck is not worth $3 million a year, and that brings up.
But you see what happens. Okay.
Sure. Snowball.
If you if you need a position, you have to have it. And I'll just make up a position. I'll say safety for LSU.
Okay.
Let's say they come out of spring and they just don't feel like they don't like any of them. And they have to have a top-notch safety. And they go and they wait and they look in the portal. Well, they're not the only one that needs a safety. Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, they all need everybody needs a safety. Well, whatever safety's in there, and let's say he's really not that great, well, guess what his value is?
Oh, it's up.
Just because it's a need.
Sure.
And so that's
same thing happened a couple of years ago with the D tackles, remember?
Yeah.
LSU didn't need a D tackle. Everybody needed a D tackle, and they were paying ridiculous money for these guys that had 6 tackles in a whole year. I mean, here's
the thing. If you're a junior or a senior, or maybe you're a senior with an extra year of eligibility, you graduate, you're a grad transfer, and you can play that game, your prospects of being an NFL guy are not that good.
Yeah, you gotta max out.
And you can play that game and max out, and get a nice start.
Absolutely.
Nice start. Maybe you got a fiance. Heck, you can build a great home with the money you could get on doing something like that.
And that's kind of what I was intimating on Tuesday. I didn't do a good job of explaining it, but it has gotten so ridiculous now. And we won't mention teams or players or whatever, but these kids are, even the way they practice and the depth chart, these coaches are leery of these kids leaving. And so you've got the portal that starts today. You ask the specific question, how many are coming, how many are going? I think there's going to be some departures just simply because, it's great. It's great to be a part of LSU Tiger and all the perks that you get, all of the things that you get now. But if you're not going to play and you want to play, you and I think there might be 3 or 4 that go elsewhere, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Here we go. Let's hear from Mike and Alex over at Pride.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm Little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer of TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
There it is, 855-PRIDE-16. Say TigerBait. And with your free roof inspection, they're going to pay for you to get TigerBait free for a year. Cannot beat it. And by the way, some of you have actually done business with Pride. I've sent an email and for you to get your free year of TigerBait. And I don't know if it's going to spam or junk. Check your spam box. There's some of you that have not put that through. But can't beat Pride Roofing again. Baton Rouge, born and raised, Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez. Of course, their main branch is in Hammond, a brand new branch here in Baton Rouge, big on the North Shore, New Orleans, Houma. They've got all of Southeast Louisiana covered like a blanket, and always about $2 million worth of shingles in stock in the yard, none of it builder grade. And you bring them a competing bid on that company's letterhead, they're going to beat it by $150 every time.
They show up in the pencil for you, residential, commercial, and metal roofs. Talk to Mike before the show. He will build you a metal barn, whatever you want. They picked up Crown Metals as a business acquisition, and ever since then, the metal roofing business has
love
changed.
Metal roofs. They look, some of the metal roofs today are beautiful.
No doubt about it. 855-PRIDE-16. Look, we ask you to give them an opportunity. You're going to love the way they do business. You're going to be proud. PFM, Don, many others have done business with them. We don't spend, you're not going to see us on TV every 30 minutes with some silly-ass commercial. These are the legitimate pros. Give them an opportunity. 855-PRIDE-16. Tell them Mike and Buddy sent you over. They will sharpen the pencil and take care of you.
Absolutely. Bar Smokey, of course, sponsor of our Smokey investment team practice reports. And look, you need any investment advice, you need to reach out to the Smokey investment team in Alexandria. And he says in all sports, SEC officiating sucks.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say anything about Jerome Powell today, but he gave me a case of the screaming red ass, Bart.
Spectrum Well Care. Coach Jay Johnson is too analytical sometimes, like with the shifts.
I am glad we had that brought up. What do you think about that? Look, everybody knows analytics is such a big part of sports. Hell, Brian Kelly, when he goes forward on 4th down and doesn't kick a field goal, he says, well, the analytics, but I'm not enamored with all these shifts. I know sometimes it works, but it seems like with LSU this year, man, you got a ground ball, and all of a sudden you see the cameras pan. You got your shortstop on this side of second base. You got the second baseman over here in the first baseman. He hits a regular line drive or a ground ball, and the shortstop, it goes in for a base hit. Nobody's there. I know that they have more information than we all do, but I'm not a fan of the shifts personally.
I don't know a whole lot of people that are.
Yeah. I don't think Koki's a fan of it either.
Well, here we go. Ryan Stadler brings up something that Buddy and I were talking about before we went live. He says 10-2 if we beat Clemson. He might be right. That may be right. That could be right.
Mike and I talked about this on the radio show today. And basically, folks, we know that the whole country is going to be watching LSU and Clemson. I'm hoping it's 6:30 on ABC with Fowler, Herbstreit, and the gang. Texas and Ohio State start off that Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. But the whole nation, especially as you get up in the South Bend and all those areas, they're pulling like hell for Clemson in this game. And so now you got the SEC people, and you even said it. I'm tired of pulling for the SEC. I don't care about other SEC teams. I'm just worried about this team that you're covering. But back to the reality of it, and this is one of the questions I asked Coach Kelly yesterday.
I mean, I take that back. If a Kentucky or a Vanderbilt did something great in football one year, or Kentucky in baseball, I'm just not pulling for South Carolina women's basketball. I'm not pulling for Texas or Alabama or Georgia. I don't want to see any of that. So it depends on who it is, but who it depends on are teams that will never do it. So it's a moot point.
But here's the reason I say IDK. I don't know. Did you see enough from our availability as well as on Saturday? Do you know how fast they are? Do you know how well they tackle? Do you know how deep they are? There is a concerted effort not to hit as much. It happened in the pros. It's coming down now. We saw a little bit of it, but you have that fear because if you are going full speed contact, thud is when you don't go to the ground, full contact all the way to the ground. We saw very little. And from what we saw on Saturday, so to me, I don't know, but I know that there were 10, 11 players that are coming back that are going to be a part that were hurt. We don't know what Perkins and Whit weeks are going to be like. We don't know if Jordan Gilbert's going to be a factor in the safety spot. There's a lot of things we don't know. And
if Gilbert were to a factor, who's he sitting down?
What's that?
Who's sitting on the bench? Who's he putting on the bench if he's a factor? Gilbert.
Or it'd either be Toviano or Tamarcus Cooley.
And I don't know is that a good sign if he does that?
No, because we've seen Gilbert. So my point is, you didn't see Caden Durham.
So are you saying that Gilbert is the DJ Chester of the defense?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I do know he played better when he wasn't hurt, but safety is an issue. And I will reiterate it one more time. Put it in your noggin, whether you're going to Clemson or not, whether you have this filled with your favorite libation or water like me, you're replacing a top 10 left tackle, and Will could go anywhere from we're hearing anywhere 5, 6, 7, 8. If the Saints, if he's on the board at 9, the Saints probably would be so stupid not to pick him. And then Emory Jones, big 5-0.
You know the thing about it is, I like Will Campbell so much. I don't want the Saints.
I don't want him to be a Saint either. Not as a football player. But my point is that the good thing about it is that all these edge rushers that they brought in are going to make those tackles better. But you've got to put it in your cup and drink it. That right now, LSU is starting 2 inexperienced tackles against Clemson. They're going to pin their ears back. And if Joe and BK get rid of it quick, like they did in the first half against USC, put the tape in. They were fantastic. Remember how quick they were throwing it against USC? Then something changed at halftime. Nuss can be very, very effective in the short game. But that, until we see them line up, Mike, we don't know how good that offensive line is. Do you?
Yep.
I mean, it's a big question.
No, but you think about how good we think they were this spring, and we do have questions about safety. But everywhere else, And then you forget that Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins weren't out there. Jacoby Guillory, very positive to see him doing what he was doing. He's obviously ahead of schedule. So, when I asked Brian Kelly Tuesday about how aggressive might he be in the portal, that kind of made some news. But I think everything that he said there is what he needed to say publicly.
Yeah. Well,
it's not just if I can if we see somebody in the portal and we think it's an upgrade and it's a difference maker and we will inquire about it. I think there might be a little bit more to what they want to do. But I do think when he says, I like my team the way it is, and I wouldn't mind the roster taking it to the house right now, I think he's probably mostly right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, but he's not gonna say on Tuesday, yeah, we really need this and we really need that.
No.
He's
not going to do that. By the way, Grant Chadwick, I thought performed admirably. As you know, last year, Peyton Todd and Oxendorf split the punting duties. 38 is still the holder, so we'll see what that happens. But I was glad to see Chadwick get a couple boomers off on Saturday. That's been the hardest, tough part. And also, Mike, we got to tell the audience that it has been hard for us to give them scoop when the defensive players are over there in BFE, Bum Frick, Egypt, on the three fields over. But man, they have recruited some defensive size, and I do believe they will be appreciably better at corner. But here's a question. How much does DJ Pickett play in the first game? Is he going to be ready? Is he going to be ready to play man-on-man on a 24-24 game, and you got number 3 out there on the corner?
There's a whole lot of reason to be excited about DJ Pickett and Harlan Berry, but I don't see freshmen being on the field a whole lot.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How quickly
Clemson,
can they get them up to snuff? But as Mike alluded to, with Weeks and Perkins and Gilbert and Jacoby and Guillory, we saw just a little bit of what this team's going to look like in fall drills in August.
All right, everybody. Genesis of Lafayette, you know they're the official auto dealer for TigerBait.com, the premier luxury dealer, offering the finest cars and SUVs in the region, coupled with the best service anywhere. Genesis of Lafayette has a huge inventory of new and certified pre-owned Genesis vehicles. So for a truly first-class automotive experiences, Genesis of Lafayette, 6600 Johnson Street, right there, and great, beautiful showroom. In fact, they were the first Genesis dealer standalone to build one of those fancy showrooms in the United States. And so there's a reason why they sell more Genesis vehicles than any dealer in Baton Rouge or New Orleans. It's because the way they do business, and they're going to bend over backwards to earn your dollar. And give them a call, 877-856-2961, and tell them TigerBait sent you in. You can go to genesisoflafayette.com and look at what they have in stock. They got great prices on demos. And as you see on the screen right now, 3.99 APR for 60 months on the big GV80. The GV70 has 2.99 for 60 months. So some really great deals on your 2025 SUVs that everybody loves. The GV70 in the small category is one of the finest vehicles. Got one in our garage. And the GV80, the big one, the midsize, beautiful. Both of them are beautiful vehicles.
Don't joke to the missus about bumping into that Genesis, because she will not take that kindly. But it's all about the R word. And I worry about these young kids nowadays doing business, 23, 25, 30, 35. It's about relationships. The old people know about relationships. That's what you have with them. And that's what you get if you do
big
business
LSU fans there. And again, look at those interest rates. That 2.99 on the GV70, that is a great rate. And so hopefully all interest rates across the board in all facets of our lives are going to get better within the next year. All right. Let's see. Here we go. King Lion Crown. What do you think of the new recruit, Amaya Joyner? A 6'2", leading scorer, all ACC performer. They really like her. I like what little tape I could find on her. But it looks like a rebounding machine, a block shot, average 15 points a game, almost 10 rebounds. right at 10 rebounds. I think it's a nice pickup.
Well, it's much needed size. You needed a big, and they need a few more bigs. Obviously, Del Rosario at 6'6" and Jersey at 6'5" have both left, gotten into the portal. Samaya Smith has landed at Virginia. I think we got to wait to see because she hadn't played the competition in the SEC.
You know what else went in the portal from this LSU women's basketball team? Drama.
Yeah. Well,
drama is all gone.
Yeah, no doubt. But I'll
leave it at that.
I'm a caller of me, and I want to see what she can do against SEC competition. But look, you got a lot of talent coming in, and we'll see. They're not even close to finishing this roster right now with the women.
Yep. Brad David, is McMahon on the hot seat next year, or will his buyout still be too high? No, it will not be too high. It's NCAA tournament or bust.
Look, let's be honest.
Unless in February or March, February, he's got a recruiting class that looks like Chris Jackson and Shaquille O'Neal coming in.
Well, I was just going to say, in answer to the question, I think there's a lot of pressure on him this year. Now, Mike, you talk to the people. How much extra NIL money did they inject in this staff? Another $5 to $6 million, got them to 7 or 8. Is that what you're hearing?
Do you think they spent it all?
I don't know. I don't know if they got any more left or not. But they
so far with what they've added, do you think that they're on their way with what they've added?
It's hard to say. I know they're going to have an excellent point guard from Vegas.
I'm telling you right now, with what has been added, they're not doing anything next year.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
I'm just the ugly truth.
But yes, there will be pressure, and I think we all know that McMahon's got to deliver in year 4. He's just got to.
Yeah.
No more excuses.
Chance Babin, every time you mention Mike Faraday went to Broadmoor, I can't help but think how dominant they were in sports in the 80s, boy. You're not lying.
Yeah, and by the way, didn't we just lose Rusty Price? Price just passed.
Rusty Price.
What a legendary icon.
Rusty Price taught me in the 9th grade at Broadmoor. Of course, I was right in that window when Judge Parker did what he did. And I was the first year of 9th grade at Broadmoor High School. That's when they added that. And where I grew up in Sherwood Forest, and Mike Faraday and his brother Tommy were 3 or 4 blocks away from me over there by Twin Oaks Elementary. They decided that our stretch of Sherwood Forest had to go to Terra the following year. So we would pass Broadmoor High School on the way to school every morning and go to Terra. And half our friends were at Broadmoor. And then Sherwood Junior High became Sherwood Middle School, and then y'all know the rest of it.
And Tommy was a walk-on fullback.
Played in the Hall of Fame Bowl
at LSU. So,
yep. There you go. I said AAC, Charles County, East Carolina's in the AAC, right? Yeah.
Look, it's going to be a step up in competition, but they will learn very quickly how good she is. They like the fact that she can play with her back to the basket. She can shoot the 3 rebounds. Let's give it out to Anissa Morrow. I had the question. Let's go ahead and throw that out there tonight since we all have opinions on this. You got one player that you can pick. Is it Anissa Morrow or is it Angel Reese?
You have to say Reese because they won a national championship.
She brings a lot to the table, along with that drama, along with that brand.
But you know what?
But Anissa Morrow, man, you're not going to replace her with 1 or 2 players. It's going to take 3 players to do what Anissa Morrow did.
The year after the national championship, the drama got old. But you have to admit some of that drama during that national championship year was fun.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
There were some fun aspects to some of that drama.
Look at there's a deal where Angel Reese.
But by the last year, her last year, Angel Reese, and they got knocked out. I don't know a media member who wasn't glad for it to be over because the drama had gotten so bad.
By the way, Flage with her cryptic tweet is on tour now. And I think this, I'm not sure when it is, but she's got a concert for Toronto already sold out.
Brad David, Mike, do you still think this team will make it to Omaha? They got to get a top seed. They got to get a top 8 seed.
Yeah, I agree with
the
that.
next 2 weeks tell you everything.
Yeah, I think they go to Omaha if they host a regional or super regional.
Yeah.
Winning a super regional on the road might be tough, as we saw this last couple of weekends. It's tough to win on the road.
And it's not just the fact that you haven't had Gavin Guidry.
He's done for the year, in case you missed it.
Yeah.
Guidry announced last night he is done for the year. Now you're going to get guys like Maverick Rizzi. You're going to get Jacob Myers, who is an excellent pitcher but has trouble throwing strikes. Lefty Williams is going to get some PT, and I'm hoping that they can start to ease in William Schmidt more in the SEC. He started again last night, did 3 great innings, then gave up a 2-run homer. But, yeah, no more Gavin Guidry this year. He's out, and we'll see if he –
I'm agreeing with this post, buddy. He says 23 Studio Sports. I still have not given up on Stamps. That's what he says.
Who's that?
He has not given up on Ashton Stamps yet.
Stamps is running with the
I agree
ones with Monsieur Delane. I think Stamps is going to be his best version. Of course, we talked about Pickett. We talked about
see, everybody wants to throw away DJ Chester. Everybody wants to throw away Jordan Gilbert. Everybody wants to throw away Ashton Stamps. Everybody wants to throw away what's the little skinny kid from Mississippi?
PJ Woodland.
PJ Woodland. Yeah. Man, give some guys an opportunity to grow up.
I agree.
I've noticed Corey Raymond working a lot with Ashton Stamps.
Ashton Stamps and Monsieur Delane would be the starting corners if you kicked it off in a week or two. That's what I was talking about in Pickett. Is he going to mature enough? And, Mike, you've got the big guns. You need to take a trip over to Jake Flint Lane and get those guys. I firmly
believe. He
believe.
walked past me in the stadium the other day, and I don't know him, so I couldn't joke with him. I've never had a discussion with him. I tried to get interviews with him. If you notice, he doesn't do any interviews. I think he's done something with LSU Gold or on the official site, but I don't know that any local media has ever gotten him. No Jacques talk, nothing. And I asked every month for a while, and I gave up. But he seems like a nice guy.
But this,
I know. I'll tell you what, we did get him when we got that tour last year.
Yeah.
Right. I wanted to ask him if they still using Jane Fonda workout tapes instead of lifting weights. No, I didn't say that.
But here's the key. If you're going to go 10-2, if you're going to go to the playoffs, if you're going to make a nice run in 2025, it's up to that football team and those leaders, because the coaches are hands off. Yeah, the strength and conditioning guys can go out there, but Nussmeier and your favorite number 44.
Maybe Jake Flint's telling Brad Davis, look, man, why don't you quit teaching that technique that makes your offensive line soft, because everybody's thinking we don't lift weights around here.
Well, they're going to have to lift and get bigger, stronger, and faster. And trust me, you've got to be physical at the line of scrimmage. Now that, BK kind of sloughed it off when I asked him about replacing 4 starters on the offensive line. Well, this guy started a little bit, this guy started. But really, I think defensively, I think that now that Jacoby and Gilroy's coming back and they've recruited some of these big guys at 340, 350, 360, and Ahmad Bro and Dominic McKinley, I think they're going to be okay at the D-line. But that offensive line, you've got to be able to push people through the goal line once you get inside the 5-yard line. And how many times did you get LSU first and goal at the 5, and you got a 4th down situation? Now, as we talked about today a little bit, do you see Juwan Johnson on a run-pass option? The problem with him is that everybody in the stadium is going to know he can't throw too well. And then Colin Hurley, in case you missed it, folks, the young man.
That's so awesome.
So good to have him back.
He looked great.
He looked great. He's a class kid, did all those interviews before.
Yeah.
Wishing the best to him. But back to this 3-month period. This is where the leadership, you got to make the phone call and say, hey, we throwing in the stadium, be there in 20 minutes. And your butt's got to be there. They've got to do it. They got to lift the tires. They got to run the stadiums. They got to run the levee. It's all about bonding. And I think Pyburn and those edge rushers are going to bring a little bit of nastiness that they didn't have before these 16 transfer portal guys.
Yep. All right. It's that time. Look at that on the screen, everybody. That's Stroubes. You got to get over to Stroubes Seafood and Steaks. And, of course, all our TigerBait live shows are brought to you by the fine folks over there. And 107 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge. Stroubes is a 5-star dining experience at a reasonable price, locally owned, and all fresh ingredients, and a full menu of specialty meats, USDA prime black Angus, 100% certified Wagyu New York strip. They've got a lot of things on the menu outside of red meat. They offer the dry aged pork chop, the black truffle lobster pasta, redfish duck Louisiana, and then they got the steak Diane as well, going back to steak. But book your reservation online tonight at Stroubes.com. And please tell the hostess or your waiter, make sure to let them know that TigerBait sent you in. And get the lamb lollipops is an appetizer, and that crawfish mac and cheese is to die for. And again, Stroubes is one of the finer restaurants in the Baton Rouge area.
Hey, we're going to have that get together, and when we do, we're going to have a team with the pork chops on my side and the steak on your side, and Kenny's already on your team, and I'm trying to draft Snake. We can get Snake and Dr. Daniels. We're going to take care.
Kenny took one of his groups. They had a big legal group that went over there and had a great dining experience. They were going to a different restaurant for years, every year where they met, and they've now switched to Stroubes and had a great time there. Great food, and I'm glad to hear it. All right, let's see. Here we go. Chu says, do we have an update on Sarah Williams? No, we do not. It's been quiet, hasn't it?
That is the big, what is she, 6'3", 6'4"?
Yep.
And we had heard early on that they had made a concerted effort. Here's another thing that's happening, Mike.
They're being very, very tight-lipped. And I can tell you, I know last night they had a gathering where it was beating the bushes for NIL dollars. Do they have what they need? But you would think by now, Sarah Williams from Wisconsin, we ought to know something. It's got to be getting soon.
But here's the thing that I was going to mention. A lot of these players, men and women, once they put their name into the portal, everybody's flooding in their phone. You got a mom and daddy, you got an uncle, you got an auntie, you got an agent, you got a handler. And so if you want somebody, you can get that message to them. But a lot of them, what they're doing is saying, oh, by the way, well, Ohio State's going to give me X, or you're going to match it. And so a lot of these players, Mike, get into the portal. They find out what their market value is, and they come back to that existing team. I'm hoping that they can land her, because I think she certainly would be an added piece with their bigs.
Spectrum Well Care says, hope Alex Atkins makes a difference with the offensive line.
Going to be the run game coordinator, and you so succinctly and pointed right to it. I mean, there is pressure on Brad Davis. We know he's an excellent recruiter. We know that they are deeper now at the offensive line. I can rattle off 10 names right now.
I can tell you what, buddy, I know what they lost. We know where they're about to get drafted. Okay. But LSU has recruited some very, very good offensive linemen.
But once again, they get thrown into the deep end of the swimming pool without a lifeguard and without
but the
a floaty.
LSU's run game, other than Jaden Daniels running up and down the field, has not been adequate.
And that's where BK has said this year they're going to change some things up. They're going to have more misdirection. And that once again, we keep going back to it. But if you can run the football, like 3rd and 2, okay, what would you do if you were 3rd and 2? I know what you'd do. You'd play action and dump it off to either Trey Dez Green or Bauer Short.
Yeah.
Right?
Most of the time, unless I knew Jaden Daniels was taking off with it, 3rd and 1, I didn't think it was a running down around here.
Well, but now
I had no confidence.
So will you be able to pick up the short yardage? Oh, by the way, we mentioned this today on the radio
and
show.
then I would say something like that, and Josh Williams would get 4 yards. But there was more often than not, it was a tough sledding.
Caden Durham, by the way, it looks fantastic. They held him out. He did have an ankle sprain. It wasn't as bad as Destin Hill, who had the high ankle sprain. But that right there is going to be one of the key factors. What can you do in the red zone? And when it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, do BK Joe and Alex Atkins, how much input is he going to have with the run game coordinator to pick up those first downs, move the chains, and invariably score points?
Brad David says, what is Brian Kelly's demeanor at practice? Does he yell a lot or joke around more? He's a little bit of both, but I would say mostly he's quiet. He walks around and observes and lets his coach, and he'll get involved in reposition guys, but he spends a lot of time with the offensive line. And Blake Baker, it's not often you see BK go to the other field where the defense is at. They're kind of their own little world for him.
Yeah.
BK is typically with the offense, and more often than not, he's with the offensive lineman.
And really, the only time I get a chance to see any of that is when I watch your practice view report afterwards. In fact,
because that's how silent he is. You have to make a note to look for it.
You do.
Vocally, you're not going to say, "Oh, here's BK." Many times I will walk out of there and say, "Did I see BK today?" And then I'll go watch my tape, and he was in there, but I didn't see him. Cody L nails it. Losing another opener is not an option. BK needs to have them ready. Man, it doesn't do him any favors when you got to go to Clemson. Do you know how fired up that stadium is going to be?
But I got to be honest with you.
That's going to be a tough win.
You and I grew up, and LSU would play Rice. They'd play Colorado when they were nobody. They'd play a Cupcake here or there. Yeah, whatever. And so Verge started doing these home and homes, and he also did the neutral site games. Of course, Florida State with 2 games.
Because those are $5 to $8 million.
Exactly.
Maybe more now.
But I'm not in agreement. LSU needs to line up and win the darn football game. Everybody, put a cupcake in week 0, which has happened to LSU a couple times. But, man, you got to go back to 19 with Joe Burrow. And when they blew out their opponent in that opener, you've got to win the football game. And I've changed a little bit.
But it's a whole deal about, you can't buy that kind of marketing. LSU's been the only game on that Sunday night, blah, blah, blah. But then you have everybody basically, you're walking around for a whole week with a kick me sticker on your back, pointing out the fact that you've now lost 5 straight, 6 straight. Boy, you better not get to 6 straight.
Yeah. But anyway, I definitely think it's a great point that he made. Got to get his team ready to play, and this is no cupcake. I'm going to go ahead and change my prediction. I've been saying LSU going to be 8 or 9. I'm thinking that Clemson is going to be 8 or 9, and LSU is going to be 10 or 11. The spread's already 2.5. From what we saw on Saturday, I think Tigers are right around that 10-11 preseason AP poll. Clemson could be 8 or 9. You lose that game, and all of a sudden you go to 18. Then you got Florida coming in here, and 2 weeks later, holy cow, we don't want to hear Glenn Guilbeau and his love for Billy Napier in week 3, Hall of Fame or not.
Yep, there you go. All right, Dykes Electrical, everybody, the official electrical company of TigerBait.com. No matter how big or small your electrical needs may be, Dykes is wired for success. If you need a brand new 10-story office building, they can wire that. A 200,000 square foot warehouse that you need built, they can wire that. Expanding your existing commercial building, they can wire that. Changing out a breaker, whole electrical panel, upgrading old lighting in your home or office, or just a receptacle, they can wire that. Give them a call today at the number on your screen, 225-216-9180 for a free estimate on your project. Make sure to let them know that TigerBait sent you in. Big fans over at Dykes Electric. Absolutely fantastic people. And Alumni Hall. Get over to Perkins Row and visit Alumni Hall. Best place to get all your officially licensed LSU gear. They've got it all. Nike gear, Johnny O, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, all the Yeti cups. They've got it. Everything that you can imagine with an LSU logo, they've got it. And I have this discount code to share with my friends and subscribers. So when you shop, use the code TigerBait, all one word, TigerBait, in-store, online. You're going to get 10% off your purchase. Go shop at my friends at alumnihall.com and use code TigerBait to save. And they've got a big event next week. Let me point out that information to you. Let's see. They've got a meet and greet with the LSU women's basketball players at Alumni Hall next week. Y'all need to go. I'll be there. April 24th at Alumni Hall. Jada Richard, Kaylin Gilbert, Miracle Shepard, and Michaela Williams will be there from 6 to 7 p.m. April 24th. And I think there might be a rock and roll also that night. So you can go get autographs and then hang around for a band at Perkins Row, maybe go eat, at Bin 77 or Rouge around the corner. A lot of great stuff at Perkins Row if the weather's as nice as it's been. But this is why you do business with Alumni Hall. The meet and greet stuff, that's NIL. That is true NIL. They're going to have posters that ready to go, and you'll get in line. You can bring items that you want to have signed, and the girls will sign it. They'll take a selfie with you. And that's what NIL is supposed to be. And Alumni Hall is doing it right.
No doubt about it. I always tell you, give yourself 30 minutes in that store. Traffic is always going to be crazy, especially now with this extended sunlight. Look, over there, 536 is still crazy, but a fantastic store and anything you want LSU related.
Chance Babin, this is a buddy question because I've only on the periphery been following it. When is the gymnastics finals?
There are 2 rounds of 4 on tomorrow night. LSU is in, I'll pull it up with the teams, but they're the top seed overall. And so if you come out of the bracket of 4 with the top 2 scores, they advance to the finals, and the other bracket with 4, those 2 top teams. And then the final 4 is Saturday. And yes, it is very frustrating to watch gymnastics because, number one, we don't know if you nail a particular event, is it a full 10? If you nail it perfectly, do you have all of the parameters and the requirements to get a 10? So we don't know that. But judging, we talk about umpiring and all that. Holy cow, I don't know what it is with these Oklahoma women. But they prance around and look pretty and all that. The technical part of it is not close to LSU. If LSU stays on the beam and nails their landings, they will bring the natty home, and it will be the second LSU team to repeat since
baseball
96-97. Now, track probably did that with Pat Henry in his heyday, but we're talking about the major sports.
I'm not making any predictions because my predictions the last few weeks have been terrible, and I don't want to mess up the gymnastics team.
All right. Well, good luck to the Lady Tigers and a bunch of classy ladies. Speaking of NIL, Haley Bryant should make all the money in the world. She is the classiest of all. Aaliyah Finnegan last year on the balance beam. Connor, all of them. It is fantastic. And Kaylin Chio, talk about a unbelievable freshman. So I'm pulling for them, but those girls deserve everything they get. And let's hope that after all those years of getting close, they can go back to back and tell Oklahoma, not this year.
Dr. John Sibley Butler's in the house. LSU has to strap it on and beat Clemson on the road. I think we'll have the best team in September. Dr. Butler is always half full.
You know, Dr. Butler.
Hey, no, he's full. His glass is just always full.
Let me tell you how good he is. We see it. We're up close. We see this stuff. He watches the first game of the year. He texted me, he said, buddy, they don't have the speed. This year they got the speed. You got to have difference makers. You got to have guys that can take it to the house. They didn't have that last year.
Think about how negative we were on. I say we. I'm not going to put you on the –
well,
but think a lot of people were negative on Chris Hilton. I was one of them. Man, he made a catch yesterday. I said it in our practice report on Tuesday. I wish we would have had that. If LSU's got it, their cameras were up. I wish they'd put that out. That was a beautiful reception. He laid out for it, dive, was basically horizontal like Jacob Hester on that Sports Illustrated cover, and hit the ground hard. And
held on to it.
Held on to it. And but anyways, that's your speed. And then they got more of it.
Props to Dr. Butler, Hall of Famer with both LSU and Texas, been a mentor for many of these athletes. And oh, by the way, in his, well, I'll just say he's north of 60, and he's still beating the young flat bellies in golf. So, but appreciate him and appreciate what he brings to the show.
Absolutely.
But this is going to be interesting. Dr. Butler's going to watch. He'll probably, knowing him, he'll probably go to Ohio State because he's a big Texas fan as well. But Arch Manning at Ohio State, defending champions at 11 o'clock, and then he gets to the hotel and watch LSU Clemson. I don't know if they're going to be the better team that night because you and I don't have any
Dr.
idea.
Butler, what are you going to do? Are you going to Are you going to be in Clemson or are you going to be in Texas that day? Or in Ohio?
Hey, I got to get Mickey Plyler's number because I hadn't talked to Mickey in a while. I want to see what Clemson people are talking about. That game could be as big for Dabo as it could be for BK, but I think nationally people are going to be watching LSU.
Yeah, because that gets, you want to talk about people on BK's back. It's not like Dabo's been having an easy go with the national media either. But like I told Buddy yesterday, man, LSU loses that opener, and our post-game show on our YouTube channel is going to be, well, we're going to have a double the views we would normally have for a game like that, and half of them will be Notre Dame fans.
This is what I do when you lose. If you ever see me on TV, Mike don't like me to wear the sunglasses.
Dr. Butler says he's going to Clemson.
This is what you're going to see if they lose that game to Clemson.
Dr. Butler's going to Clemson.
He's going to Clemson?
That's what he just said.
Okay, Dr. Butler.
All right.
Great man.
Yes. Cody L says, is our defense better versus running quarterbacks? That we don't know yet.
Boy, that was an excellent question right there. They never seemed to get that fixed last year. And I think that Blake Baker, and look, we talk about this. We didn't have a chance to get into this with BK, but if I'm Blake Baker and if I'm Joe Sloan, I go to these pros, and not that the pros have to defend what he's talking about with the run pass and the quarterback that hurt him so bad, but I go get some technique and some teaching because you got to do a better job of tackling the quarterback. And this is the interesting thing. I know Piper is one of your favorites, but folks, I'm telling you, from the edge, LSU is going to be balls to the wall to get to that quarterback. What are they going to do with Weeks and Perkins? Are they coming up the middle? Can you stop the A-gap run right up the gut? Can you defend the ball over the top?
Are you more excited about Harold Perkins now this year?
What about him?
Do you think he's going to be in the right position?
I don't know. I want to see what he looks like.
I think I'm more glass half full on Harold Perkins going into this season than I was last year.
I agree with that. But we haven't seen him. So if he's 100% healthy and they put him in a position where he just plays natural and doesn't have to think too much, I like the opportunities. He will be in the star position this year, folks. That is the Sam linebacker.
Yes. Capital City Grill. I was there Sunday for brunch. Had an unbelievable deal. I got that chicken and waffles again.
What?
Joby got the breakfast sandwich, which was out of this world. And she loved it. And I got a piece of that carrot cake to go. And it was awesome. But you got to get over to Capital City Grill. It's a fantastic lunch spot during the week. And again, Sunday brunch is insane from 11 to 2. And again, 100 Lafayette Street, your ideal lunch and dinner stop. It's a great casual dining experience. They feature a variety of sandwiches, burgers, seafood, pasta. Almost everything is at $30 or below. It's affordable. And again, Sunday morning brunch from 11 to 2. They serve until 3, but the brunch ends at 2. And so from 2 to 3, you can get your club sandwiches, your burgers, your po' boys, and all the other entrees that are on the menu. But another place where the desserts are off the chain. So a lot of times you want to blow it out on a Sunday, Capital City Grill is the place to do it at.
I love the outdoor seating, and the girls have been over there numerous times. Always love the bar. Great bartenders, great conversation, but I love that outdoor seating because you're right there. You see the river. You see all the things going on. It's a happening time. Once again, very consistent. I can't eat the sugar like Mike does.
Best chicken and waffles in Baton Rouge. I'm telling you. The chicken is the tenders are perfect. Perfectly done. All right. Anything you want to add? Any Amanda's tidbits?
Amanda tidbits. I will say this again. Mike laughed at me last week, but LSU is going to block a kick, and I hope it's more than what we just saw at the Spring Spectacular. They're going to get after people. Look, you've got Savion Thomas, Aaron Anderson, and Brown, who've all returned kickoffs for touchdowns. Those guys are all going to be alternating with punt returns. Chadwick's probably going to be your punter. All these the spicy tidbits. You don't worry about special teams right now, but what has hurt LSU with the slow starts, especially the 2 games with Florida State? Special teams. So I'm hoping Ahmad Anad comes in here and does some things, but they're going to block a PAT or a field goal. And Lordy, if they block a punt, which hadn't happened in years, but I do think they're going to be more aggressive on special teams. And that is my man, the tidbit of the night. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Pick up those Manda products, whether you want the ham, the sausage, the boudin. And as always, where flavor and spice and Mike Scarborough really do say it all.
Jerry Mitchell, if y'all want a Jawan Johnson here, let me know. We can set it up, guys. All right, Jerry, shoot me an email at tigerbaitcom@gmail.com.
Hey, the hot LSU couple right now.
I love Jawan.
Jawan Johnson and Jada Richard, and wishing both of them have big years. Look,
Jerry, you tell me. You're obviously close to Jawan. Should he be at wide receiver? Should he be at running back? Should he stay at quarterback now that Hurley's back?
Listen,
I know the family says they get mad when people question him at quarterback. I think and here's the problem. I think he's a wide receiver. He's an offensive weapon.
I think he's very versatile. He caught a touchdown out the backfield last year. He can run. He can be the quarterback in the Wildcat. I think
my problem is with so many wide receivers, so many running backs, so many quarterbacks. If you're a guy who dabbles in a little bit of everything, how do you get on the field?
Well, specialized situation. Got to have a player or two. And look, let's be honest. Nuss, and this is kind of funny in the game on Saturday. Not that it was a real game, but Nuss had a quarterback draw, and he got into the end zone. And of course, he couldn't jump up and dunk it. But
and maybe Jawan would get mad at me for suggesting that. but we can talk about it.
I like number 8, and I hope he fits a role and a niche because he's a great athlete and a great kid.
Yeah, Jerry, it's TigerBaitCom, TigerBaitCom @gmail.com. And Jerry says I would bet on him at quarterback. I know. I hear.
I think there's going to be a package for him this year. And
but the reason why I say this, I just think he can be more useful than just a package.
But they tried him at safety.
I think he's that good of an athlete.
But he tried him at safety, and that didn't work. Tried him at running back when they had injuries. I mean, he's kind of a Swiss Army knife, not like I
don't want him to be a guy where you never could figure out what to do with him, and then he ends up having a 12-year NFL career.
I'd love to see that guy have a run play action, run pass option, and score a touchdown. Come on, Jerry, let's get him in the end zone against Clemson.
Russell Shepard or
Well, anyway, a lot of talent, long way to go, work in progress, but they do have appreciably more bodies that are going to compete at the line of scrimmage. And as we said, this next 3 months after practice tomorrow, you're going to find out about the leadership. Once again, we will track all of the portals ins and outs. You don't think that there's going to be much in and out. And of course, BK said he'd love to keep this roster, but we'll see how that goes. That just opened today with that portal window.
All right, last one, FizzBuzz, Andy Whitaker. In Jaden's first year, I said he would be our second best quarterback since Russell. Now I'm saying this will be our best front seven since Spears and company. I think Blake Baker is going to, well, you know, I don't have the numbers. He basically took LSU's total defense and cut it in half.
Yeah, from the hundreds to the 50s or whatever.
He's going to more than double it and cut it again.
All I can tell you is that I want to see those guys from the edge, from the middle, from the corners, from the safeties, getting after Cade Klubnik, the quarterback for Clemson. He is a returning senior. This is a big game for him. If you can make him uncomfortable, you know how good LSU talks smack? Hey, they're the best smack-talking team in the country. If they can get an early sack and knock him around and start talking to him, they can get into his head. On the flip side, you start off and you're down 10-0, then a lot of pressure on that offense to have an answer. But look, we got plenty of time to knock that around. It's going to be a great ball game and a great lead up to it. And as always, from my end, appreciate each and every one of you, kids, women, men, the Tiger Nation. Let's all once again, please pray for Kyron Lacey and his family. Tragic situation this past weekend. One thing about the LSU Nation, they beat everybody up. They're their own worst enemies. But when you have tragedies like this, you understand what's special about Louisiana with the bonding. And so please, before you go to bed tonight, say a prayer for his family and obviously the tragic situation that we had to deal with this past weekend.
Y'all do me a favor, hit the like button if you enjoyed the show. We'll be back tomorrow with a Smoky investment team practice report. Will be out at LSU football practice. Last one of 2025 for the spring. We'll be there tomorrow morning. Players after that. And I'll have a big 4K practice footage up on this YouTube channel as well. Please subscribe to the channel. If you hadn't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button, that notification bell, and then go over to TigerBait.com. Got a lot of recruiting updates there on TigerBait.com. More on the way, and about to head out for the spring evaluation period. A lot of recruits that we're going to be out filming throughout the spring. I've got a full list that I'm about to hit the road. So we've got a lot coming your way on TigerBait. That's why you need to be a premium subscriber on TigerBait.com. $1. Try us out for a week. I think you'll enjoy the website. All right.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Yeah. Talk to you on the other side. Good night.